It's our In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach along with Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. And we give you podcasts every day of racing for this fall meet at Keeneland. And so this is the Sunday card we want to take a look at. 2 stakes races, including another Grade 1, the Juddmonte Spinster. We'll start with the 8th race, Jim. That's the Dixiana Bourbon for 2-year-olds on the turf. And these races are always, it seems like, great betting races, and we'll no doubt see some of these horses probably moving on to the Breeders' Cup. Who did you like in here?
Well, this is a very nice race, and I went with Danny Boy, the 4-horse. When the Donegal people were here, Jerry Crawford and his crew, they were very high on this horse when he ran at Churchill in the Iroquois, and he didn't really fire. He kind of went wide and just didn't fire that day. But off the Ellis Park turf race, when we got a 70 buyer in there, Ellis Park buyer numbers are invariably low. I don't think they give horses a lot of credit for winning at Ellis Park, but he looked extremely good in that race and came back. They tried him on the dirt, and now he's back on the turf at mile and 16th, and it ought to fit him like a glove. And Corey Lannery rides him. I think he's a good fit, and Romans loves to ride Corey. And I think Danny Boy is the choice here, but there's some other horses here that kind of intrigue me. One of them is Less Than Perfect. The 6-horse ran a big race at Presque Isle, and in the olden days, you'd say Presque Isle to Keeneland. Okay, I think that's synthetic to synthetic. You could also take Presque Isle horses coming here off Presque Isle to the turf. And this horse did run okay on the turf, but just jumped out of his skin at Presque Isle last time out. Got an 86 buyer. So I like Less Than Perfect at a price. Conquest Tsunami, if he runs, I'm not sure if he's going to run on Saturday or Sunday. We're taping this on Saturday morning, so I'm not sure if he's going to stay in today or not. But if he does run, he's 4 for 4 for Mark Casse. And Can't Happen here is my 4th choice for Chad Brown. Anytime you look at a horse that breaks its maiden at Saratoga on the turf for Chad Brown, got to throw him in there. So I think he's got a big shot. But Danny Boy is my choice.
If Conquest Tsunami goes in here, that's my pick. And I think you could get a little bit of value because of the Chad Brown horse in here. And I think they'll probably bet Chad Brown maybe a little more than Cassie's horse. And I think that was a pretty good, well-regarded Pletcher horse that Conquest Tsunami beat last time at Woodbine. So Conquest Tsunami I like a lot in here if he goes. As you mentioned, he may run on Saturday. And if he does, then my next choice I think would be Can't Happen here for Chad Brown. He beat a good one last time and has had 5 works since that debut. Certainly would use Danny Boy in the mix, Lawn Ranger for Kenny McPeak, and 30 silver pieces for the Ramsey connections. Worth throwing in on the ticket as well. So Conquest Tsunami, the pick for me if he goes. The next option would be Can't Happen here. The Grade 1 Juddmonte Spinster is the 9th race for fillies and mares, 3 and up at a mile and an 1/8. Close Hatches looks like a solid favorite here. You see any chinks in the armor for Close Hatches?
I don't think so. She won the Personal Innocent by 5, and she got a 99 buyer on a muddy track at Saratoga. She's handled everything they've thrown at her. She's setting it up for another showdown with Beholder in the Breeders' Cup. So I think she's a great bet. I would, however, we're going to talk about pick 4 in a minute. I would take a look at Julian Leperoux on a horse shipping here from overseas, from Turkey, believe it or not.
Where would you come up with that angle?
I don't know. I think somebody told me he did that in the Alcibiades on Friday. So, I just looked at this horse and then won a $250,000 race last time out, and they're shipping her over here, and that costs a whole lot of money to ship a horse from Turkey. So Godolphin doesn't worry about that. But I think Shurug may just be good enough to compete with Close Hatches on a good day. And if Close Hatches doesn't run 100%, I'm certainly going to throw her in there in the pick 4. But I just want to watch this race. Close Hatches, we're very fortunate to have her here running the Juddmonte Spinster, trying to win the race that her owner's sponsor. So that would be fitting for one of our best Grade 1 races. So I'm going to take Close Hatches, but I'm going to put Shurug in there just in case.
There's a lot of data that goes along with handicapping racing. Have you seen any numbers on turkey shippers at Keeneland?
No, I think that's a new one. I think we're 0 for 0.
Close Hatches is my pick as well. Just a straight exacta over Don't Tell Sophia for me. I thought Don't Tell Sophia was really impressive last time at Churchill. She may just like Churchill especially well, but she's run well other places, including against Close Hatches out at Oaklawn. So I think she's in top form, but I just don't think anybody's good enough to beat Close Hatches. The change to the dirt track is the close hatches is the best example of why they did that, to get the top horses coming to Keeneland. Emollient would have been the favorite in the Spinster if it was still Polytrack, but she ran at Santa Anita on the turf, and her stablemate Close Hatches is here for the Grade 1 Spinster, and she is my pick. Let's look at the late pick 4. Starts with the 7th race on Sunday. The first leg, you've got a Pletcher horse, Hope, Faith, Joy, that looks awfully good. That's the 9. Title Winner and Bird at the Wire were the other 2 that I used. Then in the Bourbon, I'd take Conquest Tsunami, Danny Boy, and Can't Happen here. Single Close Hatches. And then spread in the last race, Stroll to Victory. McPeak horse was the one I liked because of a win on the Keeneland turf. But Dobra Historia, Runs Like a Kitten, Woodfield Springs, Arcane, others that I could certainly see winning, so I'll use all 5 of those. So 3 by 3 by 1 by 5 on my late pick 4 ticket. What about you?
I would use exactly the same horses in the first leg as you would the 7, 8, 9, but I would also add Loom for Vicky Oliver and Joe Rocco. So I would use 3, 7, 8, 9 in the first leg. Second leg is the Dixiana Bourbon, and again, my top pick would be Danny Boy here, but I would go 4 deep with Can't Happen Here, the 3, Danny Boy, the 4, Less Than Perfect, the 6, and Conquest Tsunami, the 7, if he goes. In the 9th race, I would not single close hatches. I'm going to double my ticket, and I'm going to throw Shurug in there simply because it's a 20 times the payoff if you're going to beat close hatches, because everybody and his brother's going to single close hatches. So that would be a 2-4. Last leg, I would go 3, 4, 7, 8 with Chocolate Ride, Stroll to Victory, Woodfield Springs, and Arcane. Arcane being my top choice, only 2 times out for Graham Motion, and really probably a good bet in the last race. Interesting thing about the last race at Keeneland, a horse named Golden Soul is in there, and I looked at the entries and I thought, what is he doing in this race? If you look at him, he finished second in the Kentucky Derby as a 3-year-old, and has not won since, has not come close to winning since. 1 for 16 lifetime. So Dallas Stewart looking to be on track with a horse that finished at 34-1 and keyed a huge exacta with Orb in the Derby. So that shows you how tough it is to win on a long-term basis with these horses. But Golden Soul is in this race. Might be fun to watch.
Yeah, and if he runs big, might see him back in the Fayette at the end of the meet.
Right.
Best of luck for everybody on their Keeneland Select wagers and at the track at Keeneland for the Sunday card. Next weekend, by the way, is Keeneland Select Appreciation Day, so make sure you check your email and your mailbox for special deals, and we'll be doing some things there with the program that day before the races with some handicapping talks and interviews. So we want to see all the Keeneland Select customers out for Keeneland Select Appreciation Day. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and that's the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.